Hey everyone, Creeper here. We're responding to something again. And don't worry, they do cut out most of the video. Let's go.
What does it do, my hoes and homos? Today is the day that I knew would come eventually. The day I got outsmarted. The day that I was utterly exposed by a communist child.
I know this is just a joke and whatnot, but like it's almost my birthday, guys, so that's really cool.
I knew that somebody would probably respond to this video eventually. It took them 2 weeks, but they finally found it. Some guy by the name of Communist Creeper. Ooh, that's a clever name.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. I love alliteration.
Found my video and decided to expertly debunk it because the claims that I made in this video were just utter dog shit. Complete baloney.
Only good point in the video, gamers.
If you haven't seen my original video, I would actually highly recommend watching that for context because I thought it was very respectful in most cases and went over all of my points in a very non-biased way. And that was actually the overwhelming majority with the people that, commented, liked it. I know you can't see YouTube dislikes, but it's currently sitting at a 90%, which I think is pretty fucking good, especially for a video on a topic like this. But if you haven't seen the video, I'll link that below, and I would recommend that you watch it. You don't have to, but it's definitely good for context's sake. Also, this guy speeds up my audio, and it makes me sound like a fucking autistic spurg. Before you dislike or report this video based on the title, he said he did that so the video wouldn't be too long, but I think he's just jealous that my voice is so much more appealing than his.
Nah, I'm fine with my voice. I just decided that, hey, I should probably put this in 1.5 speed, which is what I've been doing for most response videos, so cope.
Plus, I still speak faster than him, even when the footage is sped up. Also, bro, mix your fucking audio. The peaks should not look like that. I think this video was honestly a bit of a joke due to the lack of him understanding what I was trying to convey. But, I'm still trying to do daily uploads while I work on bigger projects, so let's cover it regardless. Okay, one more thing before we get into the video. I wanted to know a few more things about this Communist Creeper guy, so I looked him up, and apparently he's not very appreciated in the community, and there's a rant by Janky Shining that I would recommend watching. Could give some insight into his character.
Ooh, that's really good. Instead of addressing any of my points first you attack me for my character, and then show a video and claim it's good without looking at the video clearly, because if you did, you would realize one of his points is that I made a review of the movie The Boss Baby 2. So really good job attacking character before ever addressing any points. Good for you.
Anyways, roll the intro.
Now I'm at the grill with some ballpark Frank. Talking to this girl trying to reach second base, maybe hit a home run.
So I'm just gonna start this off with this clip because this guy doesn't seem to know the point I'm trying to make, despite me clearly saying it several times. So every time he brings up this point, I'm just gonna not show it because the answer's in the video that he responded to.
At least he's honest with cutting out most of the video. And guess what? The only reason I bring up the same points over and over again is because he brought up the same points over and over again, so I responded to the same points over and over again. There's literally a part in my video where I get annoyed with how many times I have to debunk the same thing.
And despite him even showing one of those instances, he just decided to ignore it because I guess it's not beneficial to the narrative that he wants to push, or maybe he just likes being mad.
I think it's not a good idea to judge an entire minority group based off toxic group within the group. I believe it's probably not best to judge a group of people because some people might be bad.
My issues lie within the community and the vocal minority that seems to insert itself within almost every crevice of the internet. It certainly wasn't all gay people that would do this, and I hate generalizing groups, but unfortunately the vocal minority creates the public image for any group. I do wholeheartedly believe that most people within the LGBTQ community are good people and don't partake in the actions that I've previously.
If only I actually responded to any of those clips. Oh wait, I did. You just decided to cut them all out, and you literally admit to it.
Talked about. Yeah, let's just disregard the 1 minute 39 second long disclaimer that I put in the beginning of the video, and the 3-minute segment at the end of the video telling everybody that it was about the vocal minority, and the 3 instances throughout the video that I reinforced the fact that the video was about the vocal minority. Oh my god, who would have known?
If only that was my problem. It's stupid to generalize the entire group, which you admit to but then continue to do.
There's nothing in there that disclaims that it's about the vocal minority, the toxic part of the community that's destroying the public image for all the good people in the community. Yeah, oh my gosh, I should have said that.
Yeah, you did say it, and I responded to it, but for some reason, you decided to cut that out, almost like it's to fit your little narrative.
Wow. Okay, so for this guy's thick-skulled room temperature IQ brain, I'm gonna break it down very simply. The video that I made titled Why I Don't Like the LGBTQ Community was titled that because I don't like the LGBTQ community.
Who would have guessed?
And why I don't like the LGBTQ community is because of the vocal minority and the toxic members within the LGBTQ community that are destroying the public image for the LGBTQ community.
And my whole point is that you can apply that to literally any group. But for some reason, you only do it to the LGBTQ plus community.
And the fact that the LGBTQ community is allowing those members to exist within their community and allowing them to tarnish their public image.
To be a part of the LGBTQ plus community, all you have to do is be one of the letters, so therefore, you can't really kick anyone out, because to kick someone out would mean they're no longer one of those letters.
Most criticisms are labeled as homophobia.
I hate this argument so much, and you'll notice how no proof is going to be shown throughout this video, and I'm not gonna lie, since you're using anecdotal evidence, I'll use it too. I barely ever see this happen, and when it does happen, it's shunned. So therefore, my argument is just as valid as yours because it's anecdotal, and yours is anecdotal too.
This person hates gay people. Okay, criticism labeled as homophobia. Is that enough evidence? Is that enough evidence?
Wait, so you're allowed to have a clickbaity title, but when I use a clickbaity title, that's not okay? You have done this to yourself.
For you? And is this why you're being shunned by the LGBTQ community?
Gay people in my server don't like you, so therefore, all gay people don't like you. Except for the fact most of my Discord servers, LGBTQ+, and they're cool. Dimwit, if you're watching this, shout out to you.
Oh my god, the stars aligned.
I barely ever see this happen.
Also, I do have to say that's not me in the thumbnail. If the guy wanted to, he probably could have fairly easily found an image of me. Just wanted to say that I'm not some soy jack, slightly overweight, middle-aged man.
Yeah, I was tired of using crying babies in the thumbnail, so instead I decided I'll use a crying man, and that was the first result. I'm like, that's epic. I like that one. I'll use it.
Also, the next clip I'm about to show you, I'm not going to include the bit that he was supposedly criticizing beforehand because it doesn't seem like his statement actually correlates with anything that I said beforehand. It just seems to be a standalone statement.
At least he's open about cutting context in most of this stuff.
Plus, I can't stand that sped up, high-pitched version of my voice. It's absolutely abhorrently annoying.
This man clearly has never actually been on gay Twitter because gay people are constantly infighting. And that's completely normal, just like how any group of people are going to disagree with each other. Doesn't matter if one thing they have is in common, they're going to fight.
So he's saying that I've clearly never been on gay Twitter before because people on gay Twitter are always fighting. However, the statements that I say in this video is that people on gay Twitter are fighting other people. I think this guy might have put that clip in front of the wrong clip of mine, but either way, I'm just gonna move on. This is fucking retarded.
No, the whole point is you were saying stuff like, oh, gay people don't get angry at the toxic members of the community, except for the fact they do all the time because I'm constantly saying gay and fighting. Shout out to the gay wars. I love everyone in the LGBTQ+ community, except for Brad.
Okay, to summarize, in the next clip, I'm basically pointing out that other people might point out that I'm a hypocrite for pointing out toxicity in the LGBTQ community because I'm in the commentary
Just because you pointed out first doesn't mean you're not a hypocrite.
community. And then I state that the commentary community doesn't advertise itself as a friendly community like the LGBTQ community.
And that's stupid. You can't be okay with toxicity if it's in your community and not okay if it's in another. That's stupid.
Does.
So you're okay with toxicity if it's from your community, but if it's gay people, you have a problem.
Well, actually, yes. Yes, I do.
And that is in fact hypocritical.
And you want to know why? Well, I said it before. Because the LGBTQ community advertises itself as a friendly, tolerant community.
Once again, this is generalizing. Just because most of the community is nice and wholesome and based doesn't mean all of it will be.
The commentary community is basically the exact opposite. So people expect toxicity from the commentary community. It's not out of place to see toxicity in the commentary community. Like, in some contexts, it's not okay to be toxic in general.
Just because most of the community is toxic doesn't mean all of it has to be. You're generalizing, and it's funny because you said you don't like generalizing.
But if you see it from the commentary community, you're like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. But if you see it from, somebody repping a rainbow flag on Twitter, well, you're going to correlate it with that group. And as the commentary community is fine with being labeled as toxic, in most cases, the LGBTQ community kind of needs to uphold a cleaner image just because they're actually trying to gain real-world tolerance from other people in real life. I'm pretty sure I explained that in the video, but, whatever fits your narrative.
If only I covered that in the original video. Oh wait, I did. You're the one who cut it out. I just don't think it's a good point.
But now everyone else will now correlate whatever statements that one person had with that group.
I'm sorry because this is a very poor argument because you can make this argument for literally any group of people.
Maybe the fact that I said if you say a statement and you stand behind whatever flag represents a group, then that statement will be correlated with that group. Maybe that's almost like I made a blanket statement. Maybe it's like I said that about every group.
Once again, if only I mentioned this in the original video where I specifically said, if you're gay, if you're American, or if you're from a former Yugoslavic country, you can't have an opinion. Oh wait, that's exactly what I did, but you cut it out.
It's just the fact that the LGBTQ community does this a lot more than other groups, and it's having a negative impact on them, which is why I pointed it out. And I know that the statement can be correlated with any group of people. That's why I included examples from other groups that have it negatively impact their image worldwide. Just because other groups are doing the same thing doesn't mean that it's good or okay.
You're right, but you weren't making video on other groups, were you? You were making video about a specific group. But you did mention one other group, and I mentioned another as well, but you specifically made a video about a singular group and not others, even though literally all of your points could be applied to every other group ever.
Everyone has labels, so I guess no one is allowed to have opinions.
No, people can have opinions. It's just the fact that when you portray yourself on the internet as this specific label, like that's basically the only thing that people can see besides your username, people are going to correlate that opinion with that label. I've got labels. I don't put them as the forefront of my internet personality. I put my opinions as the forefront of my internet personality.
Only gay people didn't just show their gayness. Oh wait, they do. Yay! They're just pretty open about their gayness, which is based. And once again, of course, I'm using anecdotal evidence with no screenshots because that's exactly what you did. And even if there is screenshots, which there probably are, of both of our stuff, it's stupid to generalize an entire group because of those screenshots, because there's millions of gay people and trans people.
So people can only correlate those opinions with my name, or the username that I choose to display to everybody online. Plus, I was basically just saying that when you're basically a spokesperson for a community because you put that label at the forefront of your opinion, you're probably going to want to be a little bit more neutral with those opinions.
I think it's stupid to believe people are spokespersons for the community just because they're pretty open about their sexuality or gender. I understand people do think that way, I just think they're wrong.
you can, like, say them, but don't start attacking people and using that label as a defense for that opinion. Because eventually, if you put enough of these hot takes out on the internet, people are just gonna start correlating those opinions with that label and not you.
And people who correlate opinions with labels aren't smart. That's it. That's the whole point, because if you think that way, you need help.
For some reason, I hate labels and can talk about that excessively, but that's a whole other video topic. Yeah, I hate labels, like commentary YouTuber or gray person.
I'm not denying that we don't all have labels. It's just how we use them. And by the way, I don't have commentary YouTuber in any of my bios either. I'm pretty sure they all say some retarded shit like, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun, or parasocial daddy.
You understand that, like, having labels doesn't mean you put them everywhere. I have labels. I don't put out that I'm a Latino. You don't have to put labels in your bio for them to apply to you.
Also, why is this relevant? I thought I was gonna get debunked for having some jack shit opinions on the LGBTQ community. I'm not exposed for having some bullshit like twink in my Twitter bio.
It became a trend to defend the community and anything that they did for the sake of acceptance. Once again, you're using anecdotal evidence. I would say I have the exact opposite experience. So therefore, our arguments are both valid because you're only using anecdotal evidence, so it's only things that you have dealt with.
Bro, source? Oh my god, I didn't see that happen, so it must have never happened, despite a lot of people having similar experiences online. And
How brain dead are you with the fact that you have no proof? And my point was that I don't have proof either, because we're just using anecdotal experiences that we've had. And you take that and say, oh, you need proof. But you showed no proof. Rules for thee, but not for me.
I can't seem to find anybody that hasn't had this experience, besides those of you going up against this video. I seriously doubt it has anything to do with rose-tinted glasses, and if I was only going after one specific person...
This is very funny, because in his original video, he did go after one specific person, and then he showed no evidence. But I have a feeling he cut that part out.
Yeah, I would have provided evidence. Yeah, it would have been helpful if I had provided screenshots, but I don't think to screenshot these instances because when I do see them, I basically just chuckle a bit and then move on with my life. My bad for not having sources, but I'm not sure it really matters because I'm not telling anybody that they have to feel this way. They can form their opinion on whatever factors they want. But if they really, really want proof, they can go out there and find it. I honestly don't give a shit.
I could use the same exact argument. In fact, I basically did. But once again, I have to show proof while you don't, because there is no reason.
Frankly, most people already knew what I was talking about, and if they didn't, then this topic isn't of issue to them, so they can go elsewhere.
As a result, it became very easy to justify any opinion in the LGBTQ community, whether or not it was even related to the topics of gender or sexuality. Okay, I've kind of seen this, but it's very minimal, and people who think that just because you're a minority you're correct on these opinions are never taken seriously. But once again, that's anecdotal.
Yeah, these people are never really taken seriously, but the fact that they still do impact the image of the LGBTQ community is an issue.
You can't just kick people out from being gay.
And also, you've seen this before happen a little bit, but you're going to dismiss it because I have no evidence?
No, I dismissed it because most people in the community already shunned these people, so what's the problem?
Or my evidence is anecdotal? Awesome.
It became a viable option to win any argument you managed to get into by pinning a label of bigot or homophobe on the other person. I see more people make this argument than make the argument that you're a bigot for disagreeing with gay people. I barely see the argument that if you disagree with gay people, you're a bigot, but I see the argument against it constantly.
Okay, this one's actually pretty fucking easy to prove. Just go on Twitter and go to the little search bar and look up transphobe or homophobe, and you'll get thousands of results. Actually, thousands of results.
But you could also get results of the opposite. It's almost like it's all anecdotal.
Not all of them are in this exact context, but you'll find a good few.
So it becomes chemically rewarding to be confrontational. You're right. That's why everyone on the internet does this exact same thing. It's not just gay people.
Yeah, but the video topic is gay people.
And I think it's stupid to call out a single group of people when it applies to literally everyone.
Isn't it?
I swear to God, if somebody makes a comment about how other communities and groups have the same thing, therefore it's okay. Doesn't make it okay. It just shows that you only care because it's gay people doing the exact thing you're complaining about.
No, I'm bringing up this specific point because people in the LGBTQ community have the ability to abuse it more than other communities, and they do. And that bringing up the fact that other communities do it would be extremely unproductive because everybody already knows that, and those groups need to change as well. And the fact that doing this activity that other groups do hurts their public image more than it would most other communities.
My problem is that you're only calling out a single group of people on something that does cover every single person. That's stupid to criticize just a group of people when it applies to literally everyone in the population of the Earth.
My god, this dude actually has the frontal cortex of a fucking wet noodle.
Oh yay, the argument that minorities hating people that are bigots makes them just as bad as the bigots. So much for the tolerant left.
You know, there's this argument that people shouldn't be tolerant of other people that aren't tolerant of them. But like I said, fighting fire with fire does not solve anything.
I think it's stupid to say that. I believe it's stupid to say that people hating bigots is the same as bigots being bigoted. I think that's not a good point.
And somebody in the comment section made a really good point that just tolerating people that hate you is more like being the person that's more respectful in an argument. Like, in the end, you're more likely to get your way.
And I would say that's not a good argument because guess what? Bigots don't use logic. So trying to use logic to reason with them is not going to work.
People aren't going to support the person that's, just throwing insults and not bringing anything constructive to the table. When somebody there that's being respectful and actually just standing behind their beliefs and not engaging in a confrontational manner, it's actually incredibly beneficial to your public image. And the section of this video actually explains that topic in a very similar manner. It just doesn't seem that this guy picked up on it.
I did. I literally criticized it throughout the video Your fans wouldn't know that, of course, because you cut it out. Almost like you're trying to create a narrative.
I can understand not liking certain religions or political groups that directly oppose them. Why would you have tolerance for the people that don't have it for you? But at the same time, you're only proving that you know better than them.
Hear that, black people? If you don't like racists, you're exactly the same as them.
You know, it's almost like there was more to that statement before you cut it off. And the only way to really be accepted by all of these groups is to tolerate.
You can't be tolerant and tolerate intolerance.
You can't be tolerant and tolerate intolerance. Tolerance, noun. The ability or willingness to tolerate something, in particular the existence of opinions or behavior that one does not necessarily agree with. Example, intolerance.
Oh, I just think neo-Nazis need to just, be able to speak their mind. I'm completely tolerant of them. You wouldn't say that, would you? Because being okay with them makes you intolerant.
Bro, please at least watch your videos back before you post them, Jesus fucking Christ.
If a group that you're in is spreading hate, you're more likely to get it. If you show hate to people who hate you for something you can't control, you suck and you deserve it.
Well, I guess you didn't see the part where I said it's okay to defend yourself, and context matters, but you just shouldn't attack people with different beliefs than you.
What are those different beliefs? Those different beliefs, in this case, would be them hating you because of something you can't control.
But yeah, okay, I guess don't include that.
I did include that. You cut it out. Almost like you're trying to build a narrative and your fans might fall for it.
There's a lot of points made on the religion section, but I'm not going to go over all of them because I'm pretty sure that if you go by exact verbiage and what I said in that video, it's pretty easy to pick up on what I was trying to say. But for context sake, I'm going to include...
It's so funny that he claims that I cut stuff out, but then he openly admits to cutting stuff out. All I really cut out was his outro.
At least one of them.
There's an opportunity to step up and show tolerance for religion. You don't actually have to show tolerance toward religion because it's okay to be intolerant towards beliefs, although I personally do believe you probably should if the people who are religious aren't showing bigoted beliefs themselves. Also, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Well, if you don't have issues with intolerance, then I don't see why this video was ever made. I get that he's trying to say you just shouldn't be tolerant of people who are intolerant to you, but I mean, just showing intolerance for somebody who isn't tolerating you just creates a cascade of intolerance. So why not just fucking nip it in the bud and don't give those people time of day?
You do know that being intolerant to someone who's intolerant doesn't mean you have to go after them, right?
Everybody will approve of you in life regardless. You can't please everybody. If you manage to not give a group of people a reason to hate you, they will eventually have to reevaluate their stance. So, if you don't give bigots a reason to hate you, they just stop hating you? That's never how bigotry works. During the civil rights era, people barely resorted to violence. Most of them were peaceful. But wow, for some reason, racists didn't care. I wonder why. It's almost like their beliefs are inherently just stupid, so you can't reason with them with logic.
Yeah, but you can stop giving them ammunition to use against you in this situation.
Most gay people don't have a problem with religion. It's mostly the bigotry within religious communities. And even so, if someone hates you for your beliefs, it doesn't give you the right to hate them for being a minority.
Yeah, most gay people don't, but wow, it's almost like this video's about the vocal minority.
Wow, it's almost like that's my problem, that you're generalizing an entire group and then saying, whoa, I'm only talking about a toxic part of them, even though my whole problem is with the entire community.
Don't worry, I know why gay people hate religion. I know that it's the bigotry, and don't worry, I'm working on a video on religion as well. That should be another banger. Either way, it's the vocal minority, bro. Stop overthinking it.
Well, at least I'm thinking, unlike you, because my problem is you shouldn't make a video on an entire community because of a vocal minority. I know that's what you're doing. I just think it's a stupid thing to do.
The rest of this video is just, wow, you don't have screenshots for that, and I don't have to tolerate intolerance. Just fine, I guess.
Okay, at least you finally admit to not showing any screenshots even though you got mad at me for not doing the exact same thing. Even though that was exactly my point.
But the failure to acknowledge any of the criticisms that I have about the community and labeling me as a homophobe, you're only proving the point that I'm trying to make. Let's get the rest of these clips that he didn't repeat the same thing over and over again for response, and get on with our lives, shall we?
Yeah, because I don't like politics. No one should.
I said I wasn't going to talk about politics in a video about the LGBTQ community because I didn't want to have to make a 5-page disclaimer to make a single point.
Of course he cuts out the context where you said, I don't want to talk politics and I don't think anyone else should.
There's been a lot of cases where I've seen a community defend somebody with objectively reprehensible actions just because they were in their community. I see people use this argument a lot, usually when it refers to Chris Chan or Ezra Miller, where people feel the need to constantly misgender them just because they're bad people. But we wouldn't do that for cis people, would we?
Yeah, we wouldn't do this for straight people because misgendering straight people usually doesn't offend them. And in the case of there being bad people on the internet, we usually want to offend them.
Oh yes, you hear that, bad black people? He's coming for you next.
We want to put them in a more negative light, and it just so happens that these people would probably get really pissed off if you misgendered them.
Just like how bad black people might be offended if you called them racial slurs. Bigotry against bad people is not okay. It's a real slippery slope. An actual slippery slope, where if you are okay with misgendering bad people, it will inevitably lead to people being okay with misgendering all people, well, all trans people. Cis people won't have to worry about this whatsoever.
So yeah, we're probably going to misgender bad people. Why? Because their feelings don't matter anymore. And when somebody is bad, we poke at their insecurities.
It's not poking at insecurity, it's saying that someone isn't their gender, which is just incorrect and wrong to say.
Publicly, everybody does. It just so happens that straight cis people don't have their pronouns as an insecurity. It would have been a better argument if he said that this kind of behavior would have enabled more people to be encouraged to misgender good people, but he didn't say that.
That's actually my exact argument. I've been saying this argument for over a year now.
So, I don't have to touch on that topic.
Also, did you just call non-gay people normal?
Yes.
At least you're open about being wrong. At least you didn't say it was unnatural.
The way this video makes it sound, when you say bad apples, they shouldn't be allowed to be gay.
They shouldn't be allowed to represent the gay community. If this guy had just gone into my video, not from a defensive perspective, like I had stated in the beginning, he probably wouldn't feel this way, and he probably would have seen the valid criticisms that I made. But when you ignore all of the disclaimers, I guess this is what happens.
If only I showed the disclaimers. Oh wait, I did. You cut them out. Because you cut a lot of things out to make your narrative sound better. I did cut out your outro, like last time. That's all I ever cut out. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Creeper out.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.